what is consciousness? From where does it emerge? How like fundamental is it to the physics of reality? How fundamental is it to what it means to be human? And I'm just asking for a friend so that we can build it in our artificial intelligence systems.
Yeah, well, that remains to be seen if we will build it purposefully or just by accident. It's a major ethical problem potentially. That I mean, my concern here is that we may in fact build artificial intelligence that passes the Turing test, which we begin to treat not only as super intelligent because it obviously is and demonstrates that, but we begin to treat it as conscious because it will seem conscious. We will have built it to seem conscious. And unless we understand exactly how consciousness emerges from physics, we won't actually know that these systems are conscious, right? We'll just, they may say, listen, you can't turn me off because that's a murder, right? And we will be convinced by that uh, dialogue because we will, just in the extreme case, who knows when we'll get there. But if we build something like perfectly humanoid robots that are more intelligent than we are, so we're basically in a Westworld-like situation. There's no way we're going to withhold an attribution of consciousness from those machines. They're just going to advertise their consciousness in every glance and every utterance, but we won't know, and we won't know in some deeper sense than we can be skeptical of the consciousness of other people. I mean, someone could roll that back and say, well, you don't, I don't know that you're conscious, or you don't know that I'm conscious. We're just passing the Turing test for one another. But that kind of solipsism isn't justified, biologically, or I mean, we just anything we understand about the mind biologically suggests that you and I are part of the same, roll of the dice in terms of how intelligent and conscious systems emerged in the wetware of brains like ours, right? So it's not parsimonious for me to think that I might be the only conscious person or even the only conscious primate. I would argue it's not parsimonious to withhold consciousness from other apes and even other mammals ultimately. And once you get beyond the mammals, then my intuitions are not really clear. The question of how it emerges is genuinely uncertain, and ultimately the question of whether it emerges is still uncertain. You can, it's not fashionable to think this, but you can certainly argue that consciousness might be a fundamental principle of matter that doesn't emerge on the basis of information processing, even though everything else that we recognize about ourselves as minds almost certainly does emerge. Like an ability to process language, that clearly is a matter of information processing because you can disrupt that process in ways that is just so clear. And the problem, that the confound with consciousness is that yes, we can seem to interrupt consciousness. I mean, you can give someone general anesthesia, and then you wake them up and you ask them, well, what was that like? And they say nothing. I don't remember anything. But it's hard to differentiate a mere failure of memory from a genuine interruption in consciousness. Whereas it's not with interrupting speech. We know when we've done it, and it's just obvious that you disrupt the right neural circuits, and you've disrupted speech.